Welcome back, everyone, to the Wilkes Journal Patriots High School Basketball Rundown presented by Cooks and produced by RiverStreet Productions. I'm Sports Editor Zach Colburn, and Assistant Sports Editor Brandon Moree will be with us in just a minute to take a look at this week's Game of the Week. Friday night was a busy one in Wilkes County as there were two inter-county matchups. North Wilkes and Wilkes Central squared off, while West Wilkes and East Wilkes threw down out in Rhonda. Brandon's got more in those games over at the big board.
You're exactly right, Zach. It was a busy Friday night. Zach and I were busy. We were out at the games. The Wilkes County High School basketball teams were busy. They were playing the games, and so were the guys here with RiverStreet Productions. They were good enough to shoot all four varsity contests on Friday night, so we're going to take a look at those highlights right now. We're going to start in Rhonda. West Wilkes and East Wilkes meeting for the second time this year. East Wilkes knocked off West Wilkes in the girls' game thanks to a stretch that went from the second quarter all the way into the fourth quarter, nearly 12 minutes of game time, where the Blackhawks could not find the bucket. We're going to see the line score here. There's a 0 in the third quarter. That ended up being the difference in the game. East Wilkes picks up a 54-29 win. Tess Jolly had 14 points. Alexis Purdue led all scorers with 16. Katie Prevette, Leah Nance, and Laura Johnson each added 6 points. Leah Nance and Lauren Johnson each made 2 3-pointers. For the Blackhawks, Skylar McPherson led the way with 11 points, and Elizabeth Huffman added 9. All right, in the boys' game, this was a wild one. It turned into a shootout between that young man right there, Joe Logan, who had 31 points and several nice coast-to-coast plays like that, and that young man, Cole Scabo, who had 18. They each led their team in scoring. They put on a good show. They also drew each other defensively a couple of times. Turned into a nice battle. It came down to the last seconds of the game. West Wilkes held on for a 53-49 win because after Dante McPherson made 2 free throws with 6 seconds left, East Wilkes tried to inbound the ball, couldn't get it in, called timeout. They didn't have a timeout, the old Chris Webber move. That ended up giving the ball and 2 free throws back to West Wilkes, and they took care of things from there. Okay, now we're going to move out to Hayes, where North Wilkes and Wilkes Central met on the hardwood. Again, the second meeting of the year for these teams. We're on the second half of the conference schedule now, so we're going to see the last matchups before the conference tournament. That's just a couple of weeks away. Anyway, North Wilkes, they were trailing late in the game. Wilkes Central took a lead into the fourth quarter, but North Wilkes comes away with the win. They stay 8-1 in the conference to stay on top of the conference standings. Emily Phillips had 21 points for the Vikings. Savannah Billings added 16, and Victoria Young had 15. For the Eagles, Kaylee McNeil had 22 points to lead all scorers, and Cambry Gibbs added 19. 73-65 win for the Vikings there. Okay, and the last game we're going to take a look at tonight, the boys contest. Two teams at the top of the standings behind Allegheny, still undefeated. Wilkes Central in second place, North Wilkes in third place, and that is where they are going to stay after this one. Wilkes Central held off North Wilkes. They had some really strong balanced scoring. Levi Church had a big game for the Eagles as well, taking care of some points discrepancies. Zach Shoemate has been a leading scorer for them, had a little bit of foul trouble, ended up with just 5 points. He and Josiah Ferguson each had 5. But those other 3 names you see there were more than up for the challenge. Skylar Brooks with 10, Levi Church with 22, and Noah Johnson, a good scoring night for him with 16. For the Vikings, Jordan Wallace, 22 points on 6 field goals. He was 6 of 9 at the free throw line. And Jonathan Wagner had 8, Daniel Pruitt added 7, and Jake Richardson had 6. All right, Zach, back to you.
Thanks, Brandon. We are closing on the conclusion of the regular season as just 3 weeks remain before the start of the Mountain Valley Athletic Conference Tournament. This week, East and Wilkes Central will meet on Tuesday, and then West and Central will renew their rivalry on Friday night. The Blackhawks will have a 3-game week as they host Elkin Tuesday and Starboard on Wednesday before traveling to Moravian Falls on Friday. All right, before we go, Brandon's got the play of the week presented by RiverStreet Productions ready to go at the big board.
All right, we're going to go back to Rhonda for that girls' game between the Cardinals and the Blackhawks. We're going to see Alexis Purdue right at the end of the first quarter. She's going to get the shot off on the left wing, leaning for it. There it goes, boom, right at the buzzer. 3, count it, as the Cardinals picked up a big Mountain Valley Athletic Conference win. Congratulations, Alexis, on the play of the week. All right, Zach, send us home.
Okay. This has been the 3rd edition of the 2017 Wilkes Journal Patriot High School Basketball Rundown presented by Cooks. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at WJP_sports to stay up to date on all things Wilkes County sports. Thanks for watching.